In this video, we shall talk about creating consignments. As usual, I will start here on the Docs website. I will go into the Getting Started and walk through topics. And we have a section here called Creating Consignments. If I expand that, you can see that we describe how you can create them manually from sales order, different pick documents, where are shipments, etc., etc. So there are numerous ways of creating consignments, and we will go through the most important ones. If you click here on manually, here you have a description on how to insert a consignment, empty, link the consignment to something. We have a description of addresses, selecting shipping agent service, specifying packages, printing labels, and the final result is a label. So let's take a look at that. So from our role center, I can click here on create a consignment, or I can go into the list of consignments and click on new. And in this little example, I will just link the consignment to a customer. We will later on do this from sales orders and so on. And I get data from the customer, the location code, shipping agent service. We have the paying customer number based on the shipping agent code, since I have that paying customer number in the table for customer numbers. We can see that we created addresses based on address rules, which provides a flexible way of defining how these addresses shall be created. So normally we have 4 address types, and you can see here where we get the data from, and if it also, it could be like we take the general or the shipment or the invoicing information. And if we click on edit or view, we can look at an address and all the data that we gather on an address and send to LogTrade. Next step is to describe this consignment in terms of packages. So this is a pallet, and maybe it's 50 kilos. And we got some phone numbers and so on from the customer card. And I don't need to specify any details or custom data or not any identifiers, so I'm good. Maybe I should just add a service like SMS advice, so the customer will get an SMS message when we release the consignment. It will use a template, which is the country code. So I have to have this template specified in the LogTrade. I think I have. And I can prepare and print, which will send the data that we have composed here. We'll send it to LogTrade. LogTrade will validate all the data, and if everything is okay, we will print the labels and documents. So everything was fine. It is prepared. We got the tracking number, and I should get a label. Let's see where I printed it. On the standard print queue. Okay. So I think my PDF printer is just a bit slow. Okay, there we got it. Great. So this is the most simple way of creating consignments. And let's stick to the documentation website here. The next should be from sales order. So this is a description of the shipping and billing tab on the sales order, where we have some fields inserted from the LogTrade Connect app, the ship to email phone number, mobile phone number, the gate code, agent office ID, and you have descriptions of them here. And we also have a delivery tab where we can specify number of packages, weight, volume directly on the sales order if we like to. And we have descriptions here of all the fields. And here's a description of the actions that we can perform from the sales order. And also the related data that we can look at. So let's create a sales order. So let's sell a desk to the customer, and we will not use any warehouse shipment or inventory pick in this example, so it's still quite simple. So actually I'm ready to just create the consignment here if I want to. Then the consignment will open. It will be linked to the sales order. I will continue my work on the consignment. So let's try that scenario. So you can see the sales order number here. We can click show less like that. And we will describe this in terms of a pallet. We got the weight from the sales order, and it is ready to prepare and print. But I will delete this and show you another way to do this. So we are back on the sales order. So instead of doing work on the consignment, we can do it here, the number of packages. And we got the suggested package type code from the shipping agent service. We got the weight, the goods type. So instead of creating and open the consignment, I can create and print it. So it will create the consignment based on this data and send it directly to LogTrade, and LogTrade will print it. So let's try that. So you saw that we got the tracking number on the sales order, and we got the label and the document. But there are more ways. Let's delete that consignment and continue to work on this sales order. Yeah. That is obsolete. We can automate this if we want to. We can search for consignment creation rules and specify if these rules should apply, what kind of source document type it applies to. So for all sales orders, regardless of shipping agent service code, shipping agent service, or location, I want to subscribe to the event release source document, and I want to just create it. I want to prepare it, and I don't need to open it because it will be sent to LogTrade, and when LogTrade prepare, it will print. So let's go back to the sales order and just release it. There you go. We got the printout. So of course we have a consignment which is prepared, ready to be released. Okay, let's go back to the documentation and see how we can do this from an inventory pick. So here's the description of the inventory pick and the fields that we have on the inventory pick, which is similar to the sales order. So let's create a new sales order on a warehouse, which requires inventory pick. So I created that one. So we release the sales order But of course I need to take away the consignment creation rule, because that doesn't make sense anymore. So let's release the sales order. It's released, and create the inventory pick. So now we have the pick created. So I need to open up the inventory pick. In the same way as we can create consignments from a sales order, we can do the same thing here. We can do it manually like this. Create the consignment. It is now linked to an inventory pick, and do the consignment. Or we can click on the delivery tab, specify the number of packages. We got the package type code, the weight, and we can do create and print consignment like this, which will print the label, and we will have, sorry, a consignment created for this inventory pick. I will delete that one because I want to show you how we can automate. So we will create a consignment creation rule. So when we have a sales order and we post the inventory pick, we will prepare. So all I need to do in the warehouse is to describe the number of packages and maybe change some defaults that we have calculated. But other than that, it's just a matter of posting the shipment. And since we have a rule for automatic consignment creation, we will get the labels and documents printed. Okay, that's neat. The next thing I want to show you then is how we do this from warehouse shipment. It's basically the same thing. I create a sales order. We would change the location to warehouse pick location. And release it and create the warehouse shipment. From the warehouse shipment, I will create the pick, and I will open the pick and show you how you can create consignments from here. So it's basically the same. You can see that we have create or create and print. We have the same kind of fields here, and we can also automate the same way as we did from the inventory pick. So I don't think we have to go further there, but I will register this. And I will show you that, okay, we have to set up some number series. So let's skip that part. Just go back to the warehouse shipment and take a look at what we have on the shipment. Of course, we have the actions for creating consignments and creating and printing. And please note the plural form here. And this also applies to the inventory pick. Since a warehouse shipment and a warehouse pick can consist of many sales orders to different recipients, we can create many consignments. We can also have many sales orders going to the same recipient. Then we will create one consignment for that recipient and link the other source documents to that consignment. We have a separate video on linked source documents. And as you can see here in the documentation, we can create consignments from all the different kinds of documents that we have in Business Central that carries information about some kind of recipient and items. And we have looked at creating from customer, but we also support other kinds of sources. And we have looked at the automation based on the events. And here we can click on the link to learn more about those rules. So I think that was the basics about creating consignments from different areas of Business Central. So thank you.